Mr. Lance Walllnau, how are you doing today?
It's so good to be with you again. I ran into these gentlemen by Providence getting on the plane.
Yes,
Right.
we're on
From
the plane.
Dallas, and we were in that long, torturous experience to get here to the event. And I said, they're conducting themselves like fine young men. And then I found out that I actually know you.
Yeah. I was like, wow, it's Lance Walllnau.
It's like, we know this
I was like,
guy.
yeah, we know him. Now, Flashpoint.
No, for real,
So
Flashpoint.
if you guys probably didn't know this, but we used to moderate at KCM Ministries on social media team, and Flashpoint every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. We're moderating, liking comments and deleting bad comments, and saw this guy's face every single Thursday.
And so I'm curious always about what are the comments that get deleted and what are the battles that are being moderated, because it's such a high value in our faith community to have unity.
Yeah. Well,
And so I was curious
yeah.
about how do you do that?
Well,
go ahead. Yeah,
well, no, it's
okay,
like-
okay. So
This is very interesting for me.
We're working there. So there's like controversial things that happen, you know, people disagree, and that should be fine. That's our whole thing. We say, hey, we love everyone, but we are allowed to have our own opinions.
Yeah.
No, not the Flashpoint Army. Love the people, but they will get so mad. Some people will be Team Hank, some people will be Team Lance, and they combat. And I'm just like, you guys agree with 90% of like the same stuff, but you want to like fight in it. Hate over a small differences.
It's really adolescent, people.
Yeah.
It's really adolescent.
I was like,
I mean, so Hank and Mario and I, we could disagree, but we disagree off camera,
yeah,
so that we edify you on our agreements on camera.
yeah.
But we all know where the tripwires are, and if one of us goes over the line, then it'll be typically me that responds. I'm the Jewish antagonist there. It's like, Gene, can I say something? And Gene like, all right, Lance.
Okay, here you go.
And then,
That's me.
But to me, that's where the ratings are the best.
Yeah.
Because people want an authentic conversation.
Exactly. People don't want to see everyone just believe and agree with and be robots.
I had a boss. I had a guy that was a consultant of mine once, and he said to me something. He said, you know my guy Lee, my number 2 guy. He said I was doing a presentation for Southwest Airlines, and I wanted, I said, how do you think I did? He said it was the best I've ever seen. It was so great. And he says I pulled over to the side of the road, and I said, I'm thinking you may not work out with our company. And Lee goes, what? He goes, I'm just being honest with you. You may not. You see, if you can offer me no critique, I cannot improve. And if you don't have the ability to provide me with any improvement, then I need to hire someone that can give me that critical feedback. And so now he said, well, to be honest with you, I think you missed a window here and you missed
there it is.
So here's the problem with our movement a lot of times. In an artificial commitment to unity, we do not refine and sharpen each other. And so if you're always affirming and trying to find the unity, or the moment you come up against an idea that disagrees a premise that you have, you fragment and you break and you go into, I'm a Paul, I'm a Cyrus, I'm a Silas, that's what Paul came against in Corinth. It's adolescence. It should be, I'm with Hank, I'm with Maury, I'm with Lance. It should be, I'm with the conversation to get at a better understanding of the truth.
Yes, exactly. And so when one of the things that I agreed with you wholeheartedly when we were watching Flashpoint, and this isn't one of those things where no critique. I actually did. We were talking about the prophets and like, believe the prophets, Trump's going to be in office, and everybody was always saying, and so we're like, no, he's not. So therefore, by that not happening, it's not. It was an inaccurate prophecy, and so you stating that. Controversial. How dare you?
I was genuinely confused because it didn't happen. You said it was going to happen at a certain time. It's past that time.
You set the
parameters,
right?
And it didn't happen.
So I was like, "What do you mean? Trust the prophet? They missed it. This is like."
I'm telling you, off the air, I told Hank early on. I said, Hank, stop, because let me tell you something. I actually work with politicians. I work with the guys on the inside. And I want us to sound credible. They're intrigued by the prophetic. I mean, when I first met some of the Ambassador Brownback, he said, aren't you the guy that prophesied Trump would be like a modern Cyrus? I said, yeah. He said, well, some of us think that. So they want to believe in the prophets. And I said to Hank, Hank, you guys that are going out on a limb saying he's coming back, you have to understand. You're gonna actually disembowel the vice president, all the cabinet, all the troops. You're gonna have you think that even the Republicans will go for that?
Yeah.
They'll say you'll get your shot again. They're not gonna go. The Republicans aren't gonna do it. Well, I just think that I said it's not a. It's not a reasonable, logical, or truthful position. God's given us insight to see it was stolen. Yes. It's wrong. Yes. Watch how God rectifies it.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have to rectify it the way you are insisting.
Because that comes off almost prideful, like, well, I didn't miss God. And I'm not saying that's what their intentions are, what their
Well, this is what I said. I mean, I don't know if I was on an interview. I was within His Glory or one of the other groups here. So I said to him, I said, it's no, I think I did it on the main stage. Okay. It's Jonathan Haidt, the guy that wrote the The Righteous Mind. It's like a psychologist. It's got some best-selling books like your audience will start correcting. I love when they start telling you right away, it's this, and it's like 20 of them are correcting you. I hear you. You're correcting it, but I think it's got to do like The Righteous Mind or something like that. He wrote something on Jonathan Haidt. He's a psychologist, educator. He said one of the data points that they found was that the moment that a person, now think about this as a prophet, the moment that a person commits themselves on Twitter to a definitive position, even in the face of contrary information, they have a 70% greater resistance to correcting their original position because they've committed themselves in front of their peers, in front of their friends, and in front of their ego on a proposition. So be careful so think about the pressure on a prophet.
Yeah.
You say it. Well, then you start getting defensive. Now, the people that are believing you start getting defensive about you not agreeing with them. The problem with the prophetic is there is a timeline.
Yeah.
And if as time goes by, you find out that that it wasn't true, just don't double down on it.
Please.
There's other things you can talk about. That's why I told Hank, I said, you're great, you're a prophet. Focus on the stuff that can be proven and verified as accurate. Yeah. Don't double down on this because you're going to put me in a position where I got to say, I don't think so, Hank.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We had a debate at work because me and Isaac and I think I'm not going to expose another one of our friends. Yeah. We were all like, Lance, we're Team Lance. No Team Lance on this. I mean, it wasn't an actual argument, but it was just kind of like a debate. Like, well, facts
in regards to this situation.
We're just stating what happened.
But it's shocking the number of intelligent people that fall prey to the desperation of the Hail Mary scenario that Donald Trump any day will come back, which I think is a revelation of an inappropriate amount of because we're accused of Trump idolatry. I'm fighting guys all the time. So it's not Trump idolatry. But let's say this. If you think just having Donald Trump back there solves the problem, you have what do you got a Lois Lane relationship with Superman. This isn't how the reality of this thing in Washington goes.
That was our problem the first time.
Yeah.
We let him when he wanted to, and I'm guilty of this. I was fighting for Trump all of 2015, 2016. I was like, he's the best choice, arguing Facebook wars in the comments section, just going back and forth with people. And I was just like, oh, for sure. Like, I'm a patriot. I'm doing this. He got in office. I got comfortable. I was like,
everybody.
I was like, oh, thank God.
Fired.
He'll take care of everything. 4 years later, look where we are. And I'm 6 now. But I'm just like thinking to myself, had I been doing what I'm doing now, then, and influence more, because so many people I've talked to is like, wow, you changed my mind on that. Why you changed my mind on that?
Oh, I love that. That's why we do what we do.
I didn't think that before. Oh, when you put it that way, so you're changing other people's minds. Had I done that before, how many people would have changed? How overwhelming, even if you try to steal something, the overwhelming amount of people.
Now here's the amazing thing. Steve Bannon, Mike Lindell.
Yeah.
I love both of them. I kind of work in different ways with each
I'm
one.
rocking some my slippers right now.
So there we go. Hey, you want to do a promo?
Hey guys. Promo code SMITHBROS for the most comfy my slippers you'll ever have in your life. They're slippers. They're so comfy, y'all. I'm wearing them at the Reawaken America tour right now. That's how comfy they are.
And so, how can they get them?
Go to MyPillow.com, put in the promo code SMITHBROS, and you can save up to 66%. I'm just
66.
Saying. I'm just saying.
It's up to 66. I have to say, those slippers, I wear them myself around the office at home and when I'm broadcasting.
Yeah.
So I am complete.
Actually,
so comfy.
They're anointed. You can walk in the spirit when you're walking in Mike's slippers.
Hey, I'm using that. I'm taking that tagline right there. No, but it's not what you were saying about Mike Lindell.
So the deal is this. So Mike Lindell and Bannon, they're both committed to the election fraud narrative and that. But I was watching them recently, and the two of them were talking, and they said that they both updated their understanding of what God is doing. They're saying God is so sovereign that he has allowed the exposure of every card being flipped over for the American people, so that America has a choice to make regarding its destiny. And if it halts between two opinions, and the choice is that or righteousness, then their destiny is sealed. But their feeling is God is answering the prayers they prayed to do something in a way that is far wiser than they originally thought. Their original thinking was overturn the election results. Now they see in the wisdom of God, expose the root and the fruit of the agenda.
That's so
That's
good, because
exactly
that's what
what's
Michael Lindell
happening.
was saying to us, because we interviewed him at the last tour, and he was saying, like, I think it's good that this happened, because then it exposes the truth and things we wouldn't have known, and we could have lost our country if we wouldn't have known that they were behaving the way that they did, and they had all these plans that they did. And I was like, that's true. I mean, we're all suffering right now a little bit as a country as a whole, but having that knowledge and that truth and awareness is now building people up to fight.
We're gonna grow back stronger. As a
Oh,
country,
it is. And not to mention, as the enemy his agenda is being exposed, his disposition is also being exposed. So the Mar-a-Lago event may prove to be the classic example of overreach, because in their frustration and their zeal to try to find something to do what they've done, and then to make it about the nuclear. The story now is about it's nuclear.
Yeah, when did that
It's like, so Trump, basically, they've already came down in June 3rd, they visited Trump. They have access to everything he's got. They see where it is. They could talk to him. They told him to put an extra lock on, an extra door. He does all that.
I did that, yeah.
And now they left there and started planning the break-in to go in to seize evidence that Trump had. They could have simply said, hey, you realize you got something here which is pretty sensitive. And they could have discussed what it was, but they didn't, because they wanted to set up a trap. And this is what goes down like a rat sandwich with the average American who may not even like Trump. Because if there's anything they don't like even more, it's the fear that government is against them and is setting them up.
Yeah.
So it actually is played in the wrong direction. We're going to see how it devolves. But my thinking is this is going to end up being a mistake.
Yeah. It proves even more so, like Trump's words when he said, they're not coming after me, they're coming after you. I'm just in the way.
It's becoming
It's showing
it's
that.
the independents, the Joe Rogans. You know, when the Joe Rogans of this
When he
world,
flipped up like that?
when those guys light up, then you know, when you got Bill Maher every now and then coming over to your side and talking about the crazies on his side, suddenly something's changing in America. When you got Elon Musk coming out,
Right.
I'm never
And-
voting Democrat again.
and slamming Twitter,
Joe
and
Rogan saying DeSantis is a good option for president.
Coming from Joe Rogan is
Joe
absolutely
Rogan,
insane.
Mr. Bernie, like this.
yeah,
dude was
Mr.
like,
Bernie.
Feel the burn to Ron DeSantis is kind
That's
of
a
crazy.
big switch.
Well,
It's a
you
big
notice
switch.
he moved to Texas, not Vermont.
That's the thing. All these people moving to more red states, and what's annoying is like the people that move to red states but are still blue. It's like, why are you here?
Well, this is a secret concern of ours. We always gather together in Texas, and we notice the hundreds of thousands that are coming in from the West Coast to Texas, and we try to talk to them and say, you understand, you're leaving California for a reason.
Yeah.
Do you understand why you're leaving California? Because our fear is you're going to bring California government
We don't want
into the
that
free
here.
state of Texas, and then we're all going to have to go to Florida.
We're all moving to Florida, just like Ben Shapiro, right? He moved there.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I was listening to Rush Limbaugh, the great Rush Limbaugh,
R.I.P.
as he was interviewing Ron DeSantis to help him because he was running against this Gillum guy.
Oh,
And Gillum was a Soros-funded. He was doing partying and drugs and stuff like
Just came out
that.
about him like not that long ago. About how he got like indicted or arrested for they're looking into him for a bunch of crimes like what you just said, like
Yeah.
doing all these things, and I'm like,
And he's a commentator on CNN. And so he's
Surprise, surprise.
He is the guy the left wants in before COVID. Imagine if he had been in charge of the lockdown policies in Florida, right? So Limbaugh puts on DeSantis, does an interview because he's going to do in the smart way that Rush would do. He lives in Florida, so he gives him a push. That push to encourage you guys, that one radio interview with an audience like the size you've got him 30,000 votes he didn't have. He won by 30,000 votes. History was determined by a broadcast and 30,000 people. And that's the destiny of Florida and America, impacted by 30. A remnant can shape history, and a broadcaster at the right time can shape the remnant.
That's amazing.
I didn't know that.
That just shows the impact that you have
Right.
on people. And we were saying this, I don't know if you said this at the beginning of this interview or before, but our voices and these platforms that we've created, and you've been doing this way longer than us, but doing this and changing people's minds just by having discussion and conversation, well, we're not being hateful or acting angry.
No, you can see that. Your disposition is so squeaky
I
clean.
mean, when I'm when I make our little videos, I do have my little rants where I'll like troll and like make fun and tease, but like that's like just life, like comedians almost. Like I'm not a comedian. I'm not claiming to be. You're not funny. They're gonna get
well, but Joe Rogan's not a comedian, but he is a comedian. So
Right,
what
yeah.
is a comedian? I mean, I'm old school. I think a comedian is somebody who's spontaneously funny.
Yeah.
But Joe Rogan, his broadcasts are profound and interesting, but they're not funny.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
he's a stand-up. He does a stand-up comedy shtick.
I was shocked to hear that he was a comedian. I was like, because I mean, he's not. His interviews are very like thought provoking and
Yeah,
like you said,
right.
they're good.
Right.
Yeah.
But I've never thought, oh, he's funny.
Well, he just because basically comedy is a script, and if you've got the script and you can deliver it, and it's finally then your comedy routine's good.
Yeah.
So, but the true comedians are the guys that that have the wit. Like the Tonight Show guys have to be comedians because they have to spontaneously every night work with material and spin it in real time to find the funny.
Yeah.
The platform comedians with a set and a routine, I think that they're probably at a second tier, even if they got a good shtick, because their routine is the same script every night in every club.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are your predictions for midterms?
My predictions for the midterms is that there is a massive red tsunami. And unlike the last tsunami predictions, which killed many prophets, I might add, remember the Trump tsunami? It was like all of a sudden we had a whole bunch of reckless prophets come out and prophesy a red wave. And I didn't say it. And I'm on record saying this. It'll be a house divided. Because I saw that Washington and America so hated Trump that it would be like Lincoln. I mean, we were already seeing the Lincoln analogy. So I said, no, and Lincoln's problem was a house divided. So I said house divided. I wasn't even trying to be profound, but it ended up being a house divided, literally.
Literally.
Senate was under Republicans. Democrats took the House. And so the battle that we have is that I believe that the pent-up frustration with Biden and God's sovereign wisdom in exposing one incompetence after another that just irritates the middle ground. I mean, even the anti-Trump people are now pro-Trump.
They're fed up.
The Hispanic vote, listen, this is serious business for them. When you have 30% support in the Latino community, go to 50%, you are in trouble. So the Republicans are picking up the Hispanic vote because they actually don't like what's happening in America. They're not into the transgender thing, by the way. They have a strong family ethic. They have a strong work ethic, and they actually came to America. They want to be proud of America, and they want to make money.
They're so over it.
They're not infatuated with communist socialism, believe it or not.
Yeah,
Right.
it's only Americans that are. This isn't the greatest country. This is
Oh, no, you have to be a left-wing. No, the data's out. You have to be a left-wing, college-educated, white liberal to believe America's a racist country.
Well, it's just so crazy because okay, you don't think it's great, leave, because there's plenty of people that want to be here because it is a great country.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it's such a bad country, then how come we got 2 million people trying to sneak in? What the heck's the matter with
all
these
we're
They
knuckleheads?
are sticky in too.
Make it make sense.
We were interviewing with Christy Hutcherson earlier, and she was just telling us all the crazy stuff going on at the border, all these
Oh, no, it's sick what's
demonic type
happening. Sick.
activity happening there. And I'm like, why? Like these people are risking their lives to cross this border, and why? Because this is a great country. Because they know things are good here, or great here.
It's a fact. It's obviously a fact. And I tell you something. I believe this. I think the midterms will be a course correction. But let me just finish with this thought.
Yeah.
I'm listening to Bannon at CPAC, and I was in Aruba at the time. I'm on vacation. It shows you what a fanatic I am. When I'm on vacation, I don't have anyone like Mercedes making me have to work, so I get to listen to nothing but the news I want to listen to.
Yeah.
So I'm listening to CPAC, all the speakers, wishing I could be. She was at CPAC. But while I'm sitting there, I'm hearing stuff said that I don't normally hear on War Room because it's less scripted. And Bannon is saying to one of the speakers, He said, "What is it with McCarthy? He wants the gavel he wants to be the Pelosi the next round. So if we win in the midterms, we're going to be able to set the agenda. The reason why Congress is important is they get to set the agenda over what they do.
Yeah.
So the news cycle will be dictated by who has the gavel. It's going to be Russian collusion or this or that or impeachment. It's because the Democrats had it. If the Republicans have it, what will they do? There's all kinds of low-hanging fruit. The Hunter Biden laptop, the big pharma stuff, the tech suppression. There's tons of stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Bannon says, but McCarthy is saying, and Ronna Romney up there, the Republican headquarters, they're saying they're looking forward to picking up like 4 or so seats to get a majority. And Bannon goes, why in the world would they say that when they could take a clean sweep of maybe 50, 60 seats and cripple the party, cripple the Democrats? They don't want that. Now, this is the wake-up call, because we got to raise our IQ on this stuff.
Yeah.
McCarthy wants the gavel, but he doesn't want Donald Trump, patriot MAGA enthusiasts, because they'll put the heat on him to go after pharma, to go after the laptop, to go after all the corruption in the FBI. He actually doesn't want to have that pressure. He just wants to be able to kind of look like he's a cool guy taking care of business. He wants to work with McConnell and the Senate and the Democrats, and he wants to basically be an establishment Republican leader who sounds like a fire breather.
Yeah.
They don't want to have a sweep. Trump wants a sweep. The base wants a sweep.
Yeah.
The Republican leadership wants a modest victory. That tells you a lot.
So they're rhinos is what that tells you.
Right.
Because you don't care about, your job as a politician, we were saying this earlier, is to serve the people. But they made it all about them, all about their power, all about their aspirations and goals. And all they care about is what they want, which is why, I mean, the establishment, I don't trust half them, you know, because you don't actually care about helping the people and doing something to make America greater, which is why people voted for Trump. Because he said, I'm going to make America great again. I want to lower unemployment. I want to bring God to the forefront of our country. I want to do all these amazing things.
Brought the corruption to the forefront of people's eyes. Like,
And
drain the swamp. No one knew there was a swamp before. So that's lock her up. Lock her up was great. But yeah.
But all those things that are all the things that he wanted to do was actually help the country. And for him, a billionaire, why would he need to do that?
You know the story. Drain the swamp was a line that was put in by his scriptwriter, and he said, "It sounds kind of corny." And they said, "Just try it." So he says, I'm going to drain the swamp. And the audience response, because Trump reads audiences. He's really an entertainer. And he said he was shocked that the people love this, so he started using the language more. But we have to catch it. We have to always be, because we don't want to be low information, you know, like a lot of our chat threads. We want to be able to go up another level. We have the swamp is made up of a permanent bureaucracy of the administrative state of 3 million government employees who are not elected. They are part of the bureaucratic system of the insiders, Republicans and Democrats, that populate the FBI, the CDC, the CIA, the EPA, the IRS. It's the 3-letter agencies that are the deep state. So let's get really clear on this. It's 4 million to 3 million government-appointed employees who have tenure, who outlast every president or congressman, so they put up with them, but they control the agenda. What's happening now is a movement is coming up that is about to strip those 3-letter agencies of their unauthorized access to power. And that's what putting Gorsuch and the conservatives in the Supreme Court has done. They are willing to back the paring back of federal government power over the American people. That's how you drain the swamp.
That's great. People only think about elected officials. They don't think about the people that are just chosen for positions, which that makes a lot of sense because there's more of them. There's more of them. Yeah. That's crazy.
You don't even think about that, though.
No.
That's how you deconstruct the administrative state. That's how you drain the swamp. That's how you take the power away. Like the FBI and the DOJ. Oh, they're the ones that went into Mar-a-Lago. Guess what? Trump. God protect him from assassination because they've tried everything else. Protect him and deliver him because if he's up there, he will staff his people to take down the DOJ and the FBI and the CDC. He's coming after them. And that's going to be our victory. That's why we have to have passionate patriots and informed Christians praying and warring on the front lines.
I'm inspired. I'm like fired up to just to do more, to learn more, because you informed us on some stuff today that we did not have knowledge on.
Well, that's part of the Flashpoint mission, to get beyond the obvious into the unknown.
Through the spirit of faith.
Spirit of faith.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on, Lance.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Always good to see you guys.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
So where can we find you?
LanceWalllnau.com. You can go there, but it's a Lance Walllnau show. We have 750,000 to 1 million downloads a month on the podcast, and so go to Lance Walllnau show. It's on wherever podcasting happens, and Facebook is until they exile me to Siberia.
Yeah.
I do my spontaneous late night Lance rants at 11 o'clock at night. When I've had it, I just go put a bathrobe on, a Mike Lindell bathrobe, and do a rant.
Let's go. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Bless you guys.